Howdy Goons! Today I am talking about a new controller that, well, I have no idea how old it is, maybe that's something I should have checked, but it's pretty new. I only just heard about it recently. It is called the Gamesir Tegenaria. It's Latin because it's about a species of spider, so I'm assuming it's Tegenaria, and it is from Gamesir, which is a company that makes controllers that quite a few people like. I've heard quite a few people like these controllers, so I decided to pick up this one when I saw it because it is the cheapest Hall effect sticks on the market. It is a $16 controller on AliExpress, making it the absolute cheapest Hall effect controller that you can buy. It does say it's new because it's on their new arrivals section. Oh, also, I just noticed. Wow, I disappear right into the box. Look at that. Okay, we are almost the same shade of white. Alright, so this controller, as you notice, it's designed to look like a PlayStation 1 controller, the analog stick version. And it's got some quirks that we'll get to when we get to actually getting to it. Now, this isn't necessarily an unboxing video because nothing really works out of the box these days. There's always something that you gotta do to make it work in. This one does technically work out of the box, but I did need to use the manual in order to get it working with my Switch 2. So yes, it does confirm to work with the Switch 2. So if you're looking to get a new, cheap Switch 2 controller, this is a pretty good one to get. It is not wireless, but if you play in docked mode a lot, this is the cheapest Hall effect controller that you can get. So it is $16 on AliExpress and $20 on their site, which is $10 less than 8-Bit Do's $30 Ultimate 2C, and still cheaper than Ambernick's controller, the RG something. It's impossible to remember the names of all of Ambernick's stuff because they're all codes. It's like the RG blah 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 XX, so it's hard to remember all of the names for all of those. But this one has everything that you would expect from a modern Hall effect controller in a wired form and cheap. The box says, GameSir, the anti-stick drift experts. Programmable rear buttons. It does have those. Drift-proof Hall effect sticks. It has Hall effect sticks. Grip vibration. It does have vibrations in the grips. Software glyph swap. Now, I did test this. It does have software-based glyph swapping inside the controller. So say you're playing the Switch and you want to swap the A location to the B location and the Y location to the X location. You just hold the two back paddles and then you press the center button, the macro button, and it'll swap the location. So it does work. I just didn't use it myself because I don't have that much trouble remembering glyph locations or button locations. It says that it is made for PC, Switch, Steam, iOS, and Android. Not Android, Android. You can't get everything perfect. You got close with this controller though. And it is called the Tegenaria Lite. They did not send me this. I paid for it myself out of my own pocket because, you know, it's $20. It's super cheap. I can afford to. It is the retro gray color, but it also comes in white with orange capture and home buttons. So let's go on to the back now. Hall effect sensing sticks, anti-drift, and ultra longevity. Durable membrane buttons, high durability analog membrane triggers, asymmetric motors, real sensation, 2 mappable back buttons, anti-slip laser texture grips. So this has got a lot of good stuff in it, so you're probably wondering how they can afford to do this. Well, the company is actually based in Guangzhou, China, which means that they're, you know, where the stuff is being made, so that makes it pretty cheap. They sell directly through themselves rather than selling through some third-party American company that will mark up the price of the stuff so that they can get their cut. They can afford to sell it cheaper because they're the ones making it. Now, I already opened it, like I said. On the inside, there is a soft plastic bag to protect the controller. As you can see, my controller box was banged up. That's because my postman took the box and forced it into my mailbox to make it fit, rather than just delivering it to my door. It also comes with 2 little paper slips. One of these links to the manual, and the other links to their Discord communities and stuff like that. I can show them because there's like, yeah. They did not include a manual with it, which I would have appreciated, but I do have a phone with a camera, so I was able to get the user manual. If not, I could have just gone on the internet and gotten it. Now for the actual controller. I have played with this a little bit. I played some, what's it called? Some Fortnite with it, and it is a perfectly fine controller. Some might even say a good controller. I actually don't have any complaints about it as of yet. It's a little too early for me to have any complaints, but it's a good looking controller. Like, look, it's an exact fit to my palms, which is something I said I liked about it on Blue Sky. It exact fits my hand size, which was a nice surprise. Usually controllers are a little small or a little too big, especially those Xbox controllers. The buttons they're normal buttons. I had someone else try these, and they said they didn't like these buttons. But they've also been playing with cheap controllers their whole life, the cheap Nintendo controllers that feel bad, like PDP brand and Power A brand, who just make bad controllers. And these are like a normal controller. I have my 8-bit Do controller over here. They feel very similar. I don't think you're gonna notice a difference or care. So if you're used to an Xbox One controller, I don't think you're gonna notice or care. These sticks, they are taller than a Joy-Con stick, which is important if you're going to be playing shooters. Trying to get an angle to show you. You can't really see it. But the usable portion of the stick is much taller on the GameSir controller by about twice as much, or they actually might be just a little bit taller than the 8-bit Do controller as well, which means that they're good for shooters. They don't have as much resistance as an 8-bit Do controller's analog sticks, but they're not loose. They snap back just fine. The home and capture buttons feel like classic PlayStation controller buttons. The capture and home buttons are like soft and rubbery, so they feel alright. They're a little stiff, but they'll loosen up with time, I'm sure. The view button and the hamburger button. I call it the hamburger button because it looks like a little hamburger being stacked up. These ones are weird buttons. These are hard plastic made out of the same material as the controller itself. You can see that it was cut from the controller and used to create the button. I don't necessarily like that, but you know, no waste plastic is also good. They're soft, you don't need to press them very hard, but they are hard plastic. The macro button is gay. You can see it's wearing its pride colors today, and it is used to do so much. It can be used for glyph swapping, it can be used for turbo, it can be used for remapping the back paddles, and its light also changes color to display what modes it's in. Like the red color is going to be for the Switch. And then we have two back paddles, L4 and R4, and those are okay. There's nothing really to talk about here. Like the view button and the hamburger button, it looks like it was cut from the same material or from the controller itself and then just put back in there, but I don't think that's the case because they're a little raised and a little misshapen. They feel perfectly fine. I don't really use back paddles that much other than for jumping and reloading. The cord is in the controller itself. It is not a removable USB-C controller cord like with some third-party controllers you might find. So it is in there. It is not coming out. Which is also a downside. If it breaks or something happens to it, you're gonna have to buy a new controller or repair the cord yourself. So make sure you take good care of the controller. Make sure you don't wrap it around like this when you go to take care of it. That can hurt, that can cause tension in the controller cord. The bumpers feel just fine. They're not as rounded or contoured as the 8-bit Do's controller bumpers. They're not, as ergonomic, I would say. They're more like flat bumpers, but they don't feel bad. They feel perfectly good. They're not overly clicky, and they actually recede into the controller a good bit before being registered as a click. Like, they go pretty far down. If you go onto an 8-bit Do controller, they're very shallow, so it's a little more responsive, and when you press, you know you pressed. The triggers, they are full triggers, see that? And they've actually got some good resistance on them. On the other controller, which it appears they have very similar triggers in design, you can see they look very similar to each other, except the 8-bit Do one is thicker. The 8-bit Do one, I would say, is a more full trigger. So if you want a wireless controller and you want some better triggers, I'd go with the 8-bit Do controller. Make sure you get the Bluetooth one if you plan to play it on the Switch. The one that says Bluetooth in the name, Ultimate 2C Bluetooth. Because this one has a more full trigger. This one has a full trigger, but it doesn't go as far. It goes decently far, but not as far. But this has more resistance. So this one snaps back better compared to the 8-bit Do Ultimate 2C, which snapback's a little slower. This one has more resistance, which probably doesn't matter to you. And then there's also one other significant difference between the 8-bit Do Ultimate 2C and this one, is that this one has back paddles, and the 8-bit Do has extra bumpers. Now, personally, I don't like these, but I know someone who doesn't like these. So if you're someone who doesn't like these being where your hands rest and fit naturally, which is where your middle fingers would be, if you don't like bumpers, the extra back paddles, then you might like this because this is extra bumpers. But personally, I don't like these. These are a little hard to press because of their location, but also they're incredibly shallow and have a little too much resistance for me. So despite the Tegenaria not being a wireless controller, in order for it to connect to every system in your home, you're going to need to use the macro button and the guide to figure out what button input combo that you have to put together to get it to work with the Switch and other systems. It does work on the Switch too, but what you have to do is you have to plug it into the Switch 2, and then you have to hold Y and press home. And then you hold it for a second, it'll change to a red color, and then it'll go, and then you'll know, okay, it's in Switch mode. It's in Switch 2 mode. And after that, it works perfectly fine. Oh, I also forgot to talk about the D-pad. The D-pad on the 8-bit Do, it feels like it has more resistance, which some people might like, but it is also much more shallow. It's also a flat piece, which some people might not like. I personally like one big flat piece because it feels more like a Nintendo D-pad, and I think Nintendo's D-pad is the best D-pad. But I understand for some games, like some high-speed platformers, you might want that disc-shaped D-pad. Well, this one is more like that disc-shaped D-pad. This D-pad is weird. Like, it looks perfectly normal. It looks, hey, how is that any different from the 8-bit Do's big single plus sign? Well, this is trying to look like a PlayStation 1 controller, and a PlayStation 1 controller has its D-pad segmented, like this does, except there's stuff over the cross in the center, so it's each an individual sort of button kind of feel, and it is an individual button, if I remember correctly, for each button on a PlayStation controller. But this is actually a big disc too, and it's not a flat disc. It's actually a little concave. So, weirdly, this is really weird, it's somewhere between the 8-bit Do and an Xbox D-pad. So it's like this normal Nintendo style Plus, but it's also dipped inwards, kind of like a Xbox controller. So it's a best of both worlds kind of situation, hopefully. I haven't played too many platformers with it yet. I have played some stuff that uses a lot of D-pad use, and this is a comfortable D-pad to use. I just haven't played a lot of platformers that, you know, use it, where I'll be moving around a lot more with this. I don't think I have any platformers that do that because I'm not really big on platformers. That's really all there is to say about the controller as of right now, other than it doesn't feel cheap, it's weighted appropriately, it's not empty like Power A controllers are. It does have an appropriate weight, it does have a motor on the inside. The texture of the controller it's a laser etched texture like it says on the box, which is what you would expect from a Xbox style controller. Like if you bought an Xbox Series controller, it would have a similar texture on the grip here to the 8-bit Do and the Gamesir Tegenaria. These both feel similar, but I would say that the 8-bit Do has a more noticeable texture. This feels more like a, you know, a ridged plastic kind of feel, where this feels more raised and grippy. So this one does have a very premium feel. It doesn't feel like a $20 controller. It feels like, I don't know, $30, $40 controller. It feels like an alternative version of the 8-bit Do. I really like the resistance in the triggers. Like they really have good give back. They click fine. They feel a little loose compared to other controllers, which is going to take some getting used to. They are longer sticks than the Switch 2, which is good because that means I won't need, because I've already found this out. I played a bit of Fortnite with this controller, and I don't feel the need to use gyro aiming. I don't think this supports gyro aiming anyway, because this disgusting little creature up here, but it's comfortable, and it feels good. All the buttons feel good. It's a perfectly good controller. I'm actually giving this 8-bit Do controller to someone else in the house because I'm satisfied with how this one feels. And if something happens to this one, bing bang boom, it's only $16 more, baby. Now, some of the key features that they talk about on the site is that it's a ultra low latency wired connection. I have no idea how I would go about testing that. It's precise and anti-drift. GameSir brand Hall effect sticks. I hope they have good branded Hall effect sticks. I can't tell you how good they are until I play for a long time. I would need to play quite a bit of Call of Duty. If I played maybe like a month straight of Call of Duty, I could tell you how good the sticks are, because even the best sticks break after a month of straight of Call of Duty. 1000 hertz polling rate for instant response. Yeah, sure, I'll take your word for that. I don't know what that means. Cushioned and durable membrane triggers and buttons. They do feel durable and solid, and the membrane does feel like it gives more resistance back than other controllers I've used. There's a little more resistance. Maybe that's what Rook was talking about. But there's also good resistance on the 8-bit Do controller. It's funny, I think what it is it's 8-bit Do is like a cheaper version of the Xbox Series controller, and then this is a cheaper version of the 8-bit Do controller. Dual asymmetric motors for subtle vibrations. So there's a motor on the left and the right side. It says asymmetric, which is weird. Asymmetric means one side is different than the other. So is it saying that the rumbles are different from each other? It doesn't matter to me, because personally I don't use rumble on my controllers, but since this is wired, it's not like it's going to take a battery. 2 mappable back buttons for more controls. Yep, what I do is I map this to jump, and I map this to reload, so that I don't have to take my thumbs off the sticks to go through my weapons to do that and stuff. Ergonomic design with anti-slip laser engraved textured grips. That is true. It is ergonomic. It does fit in my hand exactly. It's a comfortable enough controller. It fits perfectly in my palms. Natural fit. My thumbs land exactly where they should. Very little thumb arching. It's perfect for my hands. Also, it's both control sticks at the bottom, which I like. I played on PlayStation way longer than I played on Xbox. Turbo function for enhanced gameplay. There is a turbo function. I don't really plan to use it. And then they have even more details for us. Wired connection, works on Switch, Android, iOS, PC, and Steam. Hall effect sticks, membrane analog triggers, membrane. Well, in a video previously, I said that one of the problems with Hall effects is that people don't know that there is such thing as bad Hall effect sticks, and companies that have bad Hall effect sticks will usually put, like, in big, bold text, Hall effect on their packaging and stuff like that. This company does not make Hall effect the main focus of the controller, even though they absolutely should. This is the cheapest Hall effect stick controller on the market. But yeah, I like the retro gray color. I like the white one. I think I like this one better, which is why I got this one. Not cord weight. The cord length is not very long. Like, this is not going to stretch to your couch from the TV, which is one issue I have with it. The normal USB plug. The cord is about 6 feet, which is, you know, long enough. But for some people, it's not going to reach from your Switch to your couch. Like, it's just overall an interesting controller. Like, it looks like a PS1 controller. It reminds me of the PS1 controller, but it's not. It's got long leggies, which might be why it's called the Tegenaria, because that's the kind of spider. Maybe it's like we wanted to say, hey, it's got a long leggy. The upper area is small, but not cramped. Everything fits exactly where it should. Everything rests comfortably. Yeah, I could probably play with this for hours. I guess I'll find out tonight when I use it to play for my stream. And then, what else? Oh yeah. I guess we should test it on some games. I will see you in a minute when I swap over to some games to play. So I'm going to test it on my Switch, but I also plan to use this on my PC. Okay, so an important thing that you need to know before you plug this into your Switch is that you need to know how to get it to work. So you actually need to go to your system settings first, and you need to go down to controllers and accessories, and then you need to go down here to Nintendo Switch Pro wired communication, and you want to enable that. If you turn this off, the controller will not work. There's also swap A and B here. Don't use this. Instead, use GameSirs. If you absolutely have to have A where B is, use the software in GameSirs controller, which is the shortcut of pressing L4 and R4, and then the home button at the same time to swap them, because that'll also swap Y and X. This doesn't swap Y and X for some reason. So you need to have this enabled, because if you turn this off, it won't connect. And then if we go to controllers and change grip order, you can see that I am in fact using the USB controller. It shows it as an Xbox layout. It is not an Xbox layout, as we saw. Let's go back. And then the first test, of course, is gonna be Fortnite. Yay, Fortnite! Alright, we're gonna start with Blitz Royale. I don't know how new this mode is. I don't really play Fortnite as much as I used to, because I don't have anyone to play it with. I do like this mode, because it's like the regular Fortnite mode, like the regular Battle Royale mode, but it's no build, and it's faster. So you don't really have time to loot up and get the absolute, like, goated loot. You have to just go in, grab what you can, and deal with what you can. And then, you know, survive the other players. I played this a little bit last night to test it out, and the first game I played, I immediately got first, and I didn't even have sound on because I didn't feel like switching my audio stuff over. So, like, I won instantly. So, like, that's already, like, a selling for the controller for me. I'm kidding, of course. It's one game. I didn't play very long. So, do keep in mind that I don't play a lot of Fortnite, so I'm not very good, and I'm recording this live, not showing you my best gameplay. This is also on the Switch, too. The gameplay is from the Switch too, so if you're curious how it runs, well, here you go. The sticks are heavily textured, like around the rim of the control stick is very heavily textured, and then the center of it is lightly textured, so there's no smooth part of the control stick. It doesn't matter where I land. There's a lot of people regardless. I'm gonna have my controls mixed up too for a minute until I figure out exactly what I'm doing here. Take the high ground if you can. fuck's going on there? He's inside. Why is he invisible? Alright, here. Take some karate. I don't know if there's bots in this mode, but I'm gonna assume yes. I forgot the controls. God, I'm sucking so much. How am I getting so many kills while sucking so horribly? A lot of gunshots going on over there. It sounds like a lot of people missing shots too. I really do like this Spire rifle. It's like, it's fully auto, but it's really accurate. Long sticks are super important for when you get into these long-range gunfights, because your accuracy is going to matter a lot. There's no way this isn't just a ton of bots. Players don't swarm each other like that. Oh my god. Oh my god. This might be my best game ever. 12 kills. Come here, All Might. I'm not even good at Fortnite. What is going on here? Enhanced Havoc Shotgun, I already have one of those. What is with this lobby? What, did I manage to get into an all-bot lobby? What is going on? Do I have crossplay turned off and I'm playing with a bunch of Nintendo babies? Oh my god, oh my god! I'm choking! Number 1, baby! Oh my god, that was so easy. I'm gonna go ahead and just say that was a fluke. There's no way. There's no way. That was... I felt like I was fighting fetuses. 15 eliminations, 28% accuracy. No, that's garbage accuracy. I was missing a lot. In Call of Duty, my accuracy is usually like closer to like a 40, 41. Alright, well, that's the Fortnite test, I guess. Alright, it's time to test it with something that involves me using the D-pad a lot. This game is Cuphead, of course, but you can use the analog stick to move, or you can use the D-pad to move. And these old-style platformers, I like to use the D-pad if I have to play the platformers, that is. So I should be able to tell you by the end of, like, a couple of boss fights what I think of it. Okay, I can shoot down. I can shoot in every direction. Oh my gosh. That game journalist in me is showing. I'm just going too fast. Need to slow it down a bit. Take it easy. Take it sleazy. Oh, okay, I didn't realize that guy could also jump up on that platformer. On that platform. This whole thing's a platformer. I did not play the tutorial before hopping in here. That's him, that's the acorn maker, get him. Twist his nuts! Twist him! Oh, okay, well, that didn't kill me. Stage done! Yippee! Only 1 health left. Really showing how bad I am at these hard games when when I choose to play the hard games to practice. So, my thumb doesn't hurt yet. Okay, that's a parryable thing if it's pink. I'm pretty sure. I just don't know how to do it. Seems like something I should play the tutorial for. Poor little onion. It's okay. Onions make me cry too. Oh! Okay, well I can do this boss. This boss is fine. I'm lean, mean, and full of beta carotene. Well, you're about to be full of lead, baby. Easy first boss. It's just the freest. I feel so bad for shooting him. He's just a baby. He's just a baby onion. Let me cook him first. Oh, I don't know what I was doing there. No, dang it. Oh, I almost had him. I almost had him, but I didn't have him. Yeah! Take it! Take it! Hold these hands for me. Catch them. Alright, well, I can feel it in my thumb, and I do gotta say that I do like this D-pad. The only issue I have with it is that cross section on the center part. It's going to create an indent on my finger, on my thumb. I can feel it already. But I do like that it is slightly concave. It makes for a great control. It's great for platformers like this because of that, like, slightly disc shape to it, while still feeling pretty precise because it's got the 4 cardinal directions. It is a multi-directional D-pad. It's not just 4 directions. It's it does hit all the angles, and that slightly concaveness to it does really actually feel good on the thumb. And like I said, that center part is going to be what bothers me in the long run. If you want to like use the edge directions and press the directions like exact, like, you know, up to up, you can, and it'll feel fine. But for platformers like this, where you're like holding it in the center and rotating it like it's a joystick, it feels perfectly comfortable like that too. That X intersection, though, at the center is going to hurt my thumbs in the long run, I think, but so far it feels pretty good. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's going to create an indent on my thumb, but it's nowhere near as bad as the D-pad on the Switch. The Switch D-pads are terrible, because it's not an actual D-pad. But no, this feels good. This feels perfectly fine. I don't think I'd like playing this with the analog stick, but you know what? This is perfectly fine, and I played this on PC, so it does work on PC as well. Real quick here, I forgot to do this part, but you can test the control stick for a Switch controller inside the Switch itself by going to the system settings, controls, and then going down to calibrate sticks. So here, testing the left stick. It rests perfectly at the center each time, it looks like, so it looks like it's a perfectly fine control stick. Yeah, it keeps resting perfectly in the center no matter where I flick it from. Yeah, it looks perfectly fine to me. Alright, let's go back and try the right stick. Yep, nothing wrong here. Not much to complain about. It is a brand new controller, so of course it's not going to have any dead zone issues or drift. Oh, I guess I could test that snapping thing that I was feeling in Gunfire. There was an issue with the movement where I felt like I wasn't able to precisely control where I wanted my movement to be. It felt like it was a little off, but that might be Gunfire itself. So, left stick now. Yeah, it might just be an issue with my left thumb not being as good as my right thumb, you know, since I'm right-handed. So it looks like I am able to control it pretty precisely. It's a little wobbly, but that might just be my thumb. So it looks like, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? It's a brand new controller. Of course it works perfectly fine. Alright, so I tested the controller across 5-6-ish games. I played Loop Hero, I played Gunfire Reborn, I played Cuphead, I played Fortnite, I played Fortnite Ballistic Mode, I played something else, but I played across both the Switch 2 and the PC, and it works perfectly fine for both, which is what I wanted it to do. There is no issue with the controller that I could find immediately. The only issues that I have any worry about is longevity, which it claims to have good longevity. So I actually, as of right now, my biggest problem is that there are no problems. It's a seemingly flawless controller, aside from the overly textured grip on the analog sticks hurting my thumbs after a bit. But that was for a play session that was an hour long, no stop, no breaks. Not like something like Call of Duty where you'll get lobbies to take breaks and stuff like that, or Fortnite where you'll get to take breaks. So my biggest issue is that there is no issue, which makes me worry that something else could be wrong with it, something long-term. If everything is seemingly flawless on it, I'm concerned about what it'll be like in the long run. But I can't tell you how it is in the long run without getting to that long run point, and that could take up to a year. So I guess I'll provide an update if anything changes with the controller. I'll let you know if I'm still using it in, like, I don't know, in a few months I'll let you know if I'm still using the controller frequently. I plan to sunset my 8BitDo Ultimate 2C wireless because it doesn't work with everything I have, so I'm planning on not using that, and I'm gonna be using this as my main controller for a while, and I'll just have to let you know, because as of right now, there's no issues with it. Like, the only issues that I can find with it are just me nitpicking, like little minor issues that most of you wouldn't care about. Like, most of you probably aren't going to be using the D-pad all that much, unless you play a lot of retro games. And if you play a lot of retro games, you're probably not buying a controller with an analog stick. Well, maybe, if you're playing PS2 emulation. But then the face buttons are a little clicky. I would like them rounded. I would like the tops rounded, like an Xbox controller. Again, nitpicking. The texture on the grips, I would like it to be less abrasive. Nitpicking. It's not painful to use until I've used it for quite a while, but using any new controller would hurt my hands after a little while. The bumpers, the edges of the bumpers could be rounded. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the issues I have with it are like stuff that's so minor that most of y'all just wouldn't care about it. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good controller. It's a good controller that's $12 on AliExpress. Like, the worst thing about it is that it's wired. But also, for some people, that's going to be the best thing about it, because wired controllers naturally have a lower latency than a wireless controller, which means it's going to do better in some games where seconds count, where fractions of seconds count. Like, the format might bother you, like the 2 analog sticks on the bottom. That might be something you don't like. Again, it's just nitpicking. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good controller, and that's worrying to me, because I live in a capitalist hellscape where I have to worry about, because this is good, I have to worry about this company going out of business because it's good, because they're not going to sell me multiple controllers in the future, because I'm going to use this controller possibly forever. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by this company. This is a perfect controller for me. So yeah, get it if you want it. Like, support GameSir because they're making a really good controller here. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna know if anything's wrong with the Hall Effect sticks for months. So I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried that it's gonna just fall apart like a Lego build or something dropped on the floor if I play with it for 3 months. And I'm going to test it. I'm going to play with it quite a bit. I'm going to play a lot of shooters with it to test it. But it sucks that I have to feel worried about this because it's a flawless controller. I have to be worried that something else is horribly wrong with it that I just don't know yet. So yeah, I guess I'll see y'all later. Bye. Bye 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 bye.